Hi everyone. As part of the operating systems course assignment, we are going to make a presentation on the topic security and privacy features in iOS. We are a group of three, and you can see the group details over here. Now, moving on to the topic, we'll be basically covering the topics like system security, data security, app security, network and internet service security, as well as Apple Pay security. Now, the basic security architecture in iOS. The security architecture of an iOS device can be best described as a layered one with built-in protections at both the hardware as well as the software layers. At the software level, there is an application sandboxing, as you can find in the picture over here, the encrypted iOS file system and the data protection classes assigned to the apps. System security. System security is central to the security in iOS. It makes the hardware and software securely integrated with each other such that every component in iOS is secure and trusted. There are basically three main areas under system security, mainly secure booting process, secure enclave, as well as touch ID security. Now, secure booting process. iOS uses mechanism called secure boot chain to ensure that the low-level software is not compromised. Each step in secure boot chain verifies if the next step of chain is valid and signed by Apple. The booting process will only proceed to the next step of the chain if the verification succeeds. The code in boot ROM is trusted, immutable, and also contains Apple root public key, which will be used to verify if low-level bootloader, that is LLB, is signed by Apple. Only if LLB is valid, the processor will run the next stage bootloader, that is iBoot, which will in turn verify and run the iOS kernel. Now, the second area is the secure enclave. It is basically a co-processor for Apple's A series processor. It has its own secure boot separated from its application processor. The main tasks which it does are key management, processing cryptographic operations, maintaining data integrity, and each secure enclave comes with a unique ID, that is UID, which during the fabrication, which is used to encrypt the secure enclave's memory space and the data files stored in the system. It is also responsible for decrypting, processing, and verifying the fingerprints received from the Touch ID. Now, what is Touch ID? Touch ID security. Touch ID is a fingerprint sensor that can read fingerprints from the user. A user who passes the fingerprints verification can have access can have secure access to the device, such as unlocking the iOS device, making purchases of App Store, and making secure payment through Apple Pay. The Touch ID scans the fingerprints and sends an 88 by 88 pixel, a 500 ppi faster scan to the enclave for authentication. Now I hand over to Sumedha.
Data protection in iOS features that we can use to secure our app files and prevent unauthorized access to them. Data protection is enabled automatically when the user sets an active passcode for the device. Other than this, iOS also encrypts and protects users' data locally and remotely. Under this, there are five parts: hardware security features, file data protection, passcode, data protection class, and keychain security. First of all, hardware security features. Because cryptographic operations are complicated and CPU consuming, they could introduce battery life problems if they are not implemented well. Every iOS device has a dedicated AES-256 crypto engine built into the DMA path between the flash storage and main system memory, hence making the encryption process highly efficient. Every device also has a unique UID and a device group ID, which are 256-bit keys, and no software or hardware can access them directly. Data encrypted using UID is tied to a particular device. Hence, if the memory chip is physically moved to another device, the encrypted file will not be accessible. Now, the file data protection part. iOS protects the file data by constructing and managing a hierarchy of keys in the conjunction with hardware encryption engine. The diagram below represents the hierarchy and the relation between these keys. When a file is created, the data protection system creates a 256-bit key and forward to the hardware AES engine. The resulting wrapped per file key is stored in the file's metadata. To open a file, iOS first decrypts the file metadata using the file system key, having the wrapped per key and classes which are used to wrap the per file key. Then iOS unwrap the per file key using the corresponding class key and forward the per file key to the hardware AES engine. Decrypts the file content read from the flash storage. Now, data protection class. When a new file is created on iOS device, it's assigned a class by the app that creates it. Each class uses different policies to determine when the data is accessible. Some basic classes are complete protection, protected unless open, protect until first user authentication, and no protection. Lastly, the keychain security part. iOS apps deals with a lot of sensitive data, such as passwords. In order to store these passwords securely, iOS keychain is used. And keychain item contains metadata such as creation and modification, timestamps, etc. Besides, a keychain contains the version number, the access control list, a value indicating which protect class the item is in, and many more. All these contents are encrypted using AES-128. Further, moving to the app security part, to make all apps running on iOS are not performing malicious tasks, Apple encodes that all apps must be reviewed and approved by Apple before being available on the App Store. It consists of three parts: app review and code signing, runtime process security, data protection in apps. App reviewing and code signing. Apple requires that all the executable code be signed by the Apple Issue certificate. Developer must register and join the Apple Developer Program, obtaining a verified developer certificate. Developer must use this certificate to submit to their apps to the App Store. After being reviewed and the approval by the Apple, the apps will be available on the App Store for the use. Moving on to the runtime process security, iOS uses a mechanism called sandbox to prevent apps from compromising other apps installed on the device. Apps are restricted from accessing files associated with other apps and making secure changes to the devices. In addition, third-party apps have limited resources when performing background tasks. Lastly, the data protection in app. iOS Software Development Kit provides a lot of APIs such that developers can easily write data protection codes. Example of these APIs are NS File Manager, Code Data, NS Data, and SQLite. Now, Deepsi will be explaining the network and internet service security part.
iOS incorporates lots of advanced technologies and latest standard network protocols in order to ensure data and users' privacy are protected during transmission over network. So, network and internet security, here we will briefly introduce the four parts: SSL TLS, Wi-Fi airdrop security, and iMessage security. In SSL TLS are used by many built-in apps to communicate with remote server in iOS, whereas for Wi-Fi iOS supports WPA2 Enterprise, which uses 128-bit AES encryption. In addition, a randomized MAC address is used when iOS is performing TNS scans. Because MAC address changes, it is impossible for an attacker to track an iOS device traffic, thereby bringing much more security. Going on to airdrop security, it allows users to share files on the iOS devices with nearby users. When a user enables airdrop, a 248-bit RSA identity and its hash are created and stored on a device. When airdrop is open, a signal is emitted through Bluetooth Low Energy such that nearby devices that also have airdrop turned on can receive it. After the sender chooses to whom he has to send, a TLS connection is created between the sender and the receiver. The iCloud identity certificates exchange. After the receiver accepts the files to transfer, the transmission begins. Next is iMessage security. It is a very popular message service provided by Apple. It uses APNs which are responsible for propagating information to iOS devices in a secure way. When iMessage is turned on, an RSA 1280-bit key for encryption and ECDSA 256-bit key for signing are generated. Those two private keys are stored in the device keychain. The public keys are sent to Apple's directory service, which is responsible for storing users' identification, his associated public keys, and device APN addresses. Next is Apple Pay security. It is to make payments so easy that users only need to touch the home button to authorize the complete transactions performed in a secure private way. And next, the component is the Apple Pay component that I will introduce. So it has 5 parts. Secure element is a certified chip hosts the applets that are used to manage Apple Pay. An NFC controller handles the communication between the application processor and secure element, and between the secure element and the point of sale terminal. Passbook is used by users so that user can also view the card information and privacy policy of the bank. The secure enclave and Touch ID. Users authorize each payment using Touch ID or password. The secure enclave verifies the fingerprints of the password is valid. If so, the payment can proceed. Apple Pay servers. The Apple Pay servers communicate with the devices and the payment network servers to manage the state of the credit debit cards. Next, I would like to thank on behalf of my group members. Thank you very much.